is Boadu TV. Truth and integrity.
Ahaya Boadu TV ma yama bibi akwaba emfabraso na former Chief Justice mekanisa suspended Chief Justice ma mekanisa no wankotwa nheme Madam Gertrude Araba Torkorno so we so akire nsentwofo wesu na eno na eye Ivan Chi ene ye friend say Solomon omode ayam no ene enya saketo kra na ni nyina ene se ma me che se wonye ndisi fo hwe ene wonwa se ndisi fo etete no a mo pese mo yi ne fiabem na nsema wo kan ye no ebi omu papa na wo de enya botre ne tibi
and the holidays, you know, first you say 1st July and about back as statutory holidays, you say first nanka commemorative and 21st and so Eddie Abba say and so coming come birthday so I will say observe as holiday. Now the 4th August which was supposed to be the SWAL administration, the buy say ebe keteli for the Founders Day celebration, you know, and then you see it is gone back. You see, you know, OCC and say there was 17 public holidays. Okurum has to say. What's your take? People have made a submission. Say, why Abembia Bar? Is it the case that a future MPP government will also come and do a similar thing? Say, almost the same back to a even though the first Mahama government in the day in Nkrumah 21st September holiday in the Baye. As against the July 1st, and the annual never hold that Kransa, Mampeni, Dada, Nanadu Danko Kufadu, and the Fekunyano.
I think that holidays, the previous administration, the council, and most of them were your friends, crucial holidays are not a very important day on our calendar. And for me, I think they had some symbolic essence na Ghana folk could easily relate to. For instance, 1st July at the Republic Day. Yeah. So I didn't understand why Ebe Saturday in a free hop, because in the commemoration, you know, I bring a lot of things to mind that let's say history is there, no, not to be repeated, but to guide us in our path to there. Oh yeah, Eba. And for me, I think very necessary this particular Republic way, and I've always had my concern about this August way now. I'm introducing for me August, no. Any foundational basis. Be clearly you could see it was pure politics, but it's unfortunate and it's a shame. Very often when Obianya power, we beginning to toy with some of these things. About our date in Ankasano, losing the essence and become some kind of some political way be I know the day you know Ghana for cannot relate to. For instance, when at the buyer because national holiday is supposed to be a day across the political divide or be a bit more related to because of the symbolic essence near my representing the reminder that it gives us. By a way by me ohima na masisa na meditate we yahyehyɛ we ba no I know the day no Ghanaians are unable to keep track of these days. They lose their symbolic essence then as a fall. So I think some of these things, you know, back and forth is unnecessary.
I see.
And I think we should find a way of making sure you see a national holidays 8 amendment and then as a form no very difficult for us to do, because you see holidays no ya adults will come saying. And then saying Kramofosha says we've added about 2-3 holidays. In fact,
to say the back waka shack.
Yes,
as it is also yes.
Christopher Beshas and also Bejibe and several other holidays. Yes,
like I said, there were 17 holidays.
It's not always a holiday, you know, like Obiantina Fie. America, they have a number of holidays. Saying banks and as a phone in a year, other institution will work. You only commemorate it wherever you are. Okay. I think that concept is what we need to introduce, especially where we as a country economically, you know, we are just trying to be Your friend say you're sleeping in line, somebody near Mabakoyama. I'm not sure, say, who here say all the time you're spending my time at home. You understand? There are some of the holidays people can be at their workplace and we can still commemorate them. You understand? It's not always a holiday, you know, so yet to meet the holiday twice or 3 times. For instance, Friday. Now we come Monday, now we Tuesday. Now, not the day, you know, some of these things, you know, for me.
And then I said proposal, Interior Minister, as part of the amendment process, you know, proposal or the choir, and so you are to me say, he said the president has the prerogative to be to me a vary a holiday date. And so, for example, say holiday thought Tuesday, Wednesday, or a Thursday. The president has the mandate now to push it to a Friday or a Monday.
Yeah, and I think those powers there, you can't take it away from the president. These are presidential. But maybe they say we can even fix the date somewhere. For instance, we have Fridays. So holidays, we can pin them to a particular day, Friday. So when people go Saturday, Sunday, then it ends there. You understand? I think that it will make sense.
Okay.
And it's not issue. I want to waste time on it.
Bello, Mamenjo view on this. Osha, we bear the last of all some of these amendments. Yeah, Abayan Sesa, Abayan Babianwa. Now we say omo touch some of these things in na akoye kasabebre and some of the minority group did not really not omobonjo sokra say ye 4th August ne free ho na ye date September 25th a lot of issues na omobonjo o je ne say
edi kan amemfa wa fidie kese so na menchia ahwefo titre omo Bonny East Kintampo Techimai Atebu Nkranza and other constituencies omaka na mebo me party for swabaso
okay
juma pa ye nima banwe eya ebi ya ye bon na baso ne enyen so no ye bon na chi se obesisa because opposition is for what is to check the government activities. When they are good for the people you support, when they are not good at least you criticize. For me, to an extent, I will agree with Minia Ivan because yema yen holidays, you know, aluso is a national character and it's becoming a party ideology.
Okay.
To an extent that a political party that comes, the MPP, the NDC, they'll find a way. They'll find a way to model or modernize the holiday to suit their events. This is share 1st July year. Abako semuna then a 1st July. That was when we gained our republic.
Yes.
And the assistant nebesisano. But what is it? Holiday beer one a historical antecedent. And what's the Sunday in the Kwashebi before Fra? Mrs. said, you are touting the history behind it. Yes, answer we'll be losing our values. And Chairman will be sorry no more sooner than that history, no,
They will lose it.
they will lose it. Because everybody can have a or say history is determined by the writer. It is here. Now, so no, at the court, but a same as a history you buy in there. And there, I was say a bomb buy. Like for the date, it can change. That is why the sent to a war. Minimum say 1900, minimum say 9. Historians can determine that they can write their history to suit their own event or their own date. But the actual reason for the history in there, it must be preserved.
Okay.
And na ye say NDC aba ye nye ni say MPP aba yesu ye nye ni sia me gidi say ebedrum rebi no obiara the party ideology and ebe ye nyuma. And let me once again agree with Minia Ivan. Yeah, holidays not also. And we are observing them so much so well that it taking most of our productivity or our production hours. Brand was say the courage when I conquer you when I'm run fast one no minus engineer brand no. Afena hidden nam. They say a holiday. And the holiday. I didn't a holiday. Oh, yeah, they kai mrebi atwam ntalebe ne wo se ye hye na emfa nkai but what you say yen fa yen hye santa na enko adwuma na enko ye adwuma na afa de esomra mfa so mayen ebia eye school mu na wo se ye sa yi na yen ko yen hye santa lewe cultural day bi yen ko kira de ya mamre ya mane na mmofra no ene kroma nyina no hu ne ntia wo se ye na at least yen mre no enko so but yes so yen tena fie 17 holidays within the year 17 holidays within the year this is 17 holidays so but how many days it will affect no yen taking into consideration because holiday be why it may take 2 days it may take 3 days and to be we no all the sad days in na be 17 no ho na all can go be 20 something na
I see
point bia me kan you say do one piece of work every day and you'll be surprised of what you'll be able to do in a year. Okay. Until every day you will miss out. It has effect on your productivity.
I see.
And for me, I will agree with the many. Omoka say holidays, Okay. And we should make holidays, to understand. You're making in. Remember, menya krana. Okay, you can share your constitution. You want to abandon people on to me, sir. And this the question will be, say, is this going to be the last time? I cannot assure you. It will never be the last time. Okay. Because MPP bar also will have a history. Yes, we are likely to change.
Okay.
It's going to happen.
I see.
Yes.
All right. Bello me that say. Now, I was for so of the movement for change. NTBA solution be political party. Omugo so to omuniama. Solo me wa kwaba. Na bibia boko de. Na arrangement to become a political party no mugu so.
Ye dre no ye dre chipa enche kra ka be 0.2%. Ye wie kra.
I see.
Ya ma anyi yinti na Methodist Church to the first be free can le mobile.
I see.
Because me na so ba. Ti ama o man no entumi nkona mo sa. Me chia Ivan Mohammed, yes. Anyone for the team.
Yeah, that's it. As more better so no na. We the entity who kekene di prako. Say ene mrashe beju akwa si nkunya age. More or less like oma amende some holidays be the actual administration e free honey ade. In fact when you if you per se bet omo e no kwan foforo so e wo so e defa. And they omo the abase say statutory 1st July a holiday back said your name that 21st September so a Kwame Nkrumah birthday no should be observed as Founders Day, whether it is with the apostrophe s no and then again there was another 2 million president says he say no say holiday for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday or the mandate to push it into the next Friday or the earlier or the next Monday, whichever we are, they are banned in that order. Until we need some more, I'll just seek your opinion on that. Now, young issues.
Now, the holidays will come.
Yes.
3rd July, they are very popular.
Yeah.
Because it was significance. And in fact, 1957 now, you can say I independent. Now, I'm a that's what this is. Yeah, just trust you free London. Yeah, kasa birthday on the 1st of July 1960. So just and then in the figment of Obi imagination, what Basa a that concept that ponce on the author of politics, cheap politics, partisan politics. Was say what about the year for the 4th August? Busan Pada this year, between 3rd July and 4th of August, Okas will be a trauma because of what the end will be a trauma because of what 4th of August, Saturday, I don't know, any at UGCC. UGCC, you know, by 1949, now I hear a brass band, a good party, a New York review will be on Kayomo. Because that Kwame Nkrumah they were free market the CPP. To free muna and I mean this. Yeah, quite independence, no. UGCC in Kaho. Was that day, no? And yet UGCC in Tino. Yemfama Meshe, Omanunyam, Adi Kufodu, and a Bushia for Ekan, the founders of UGC. Where you are somewhere indigenous or AID. It was even a slap, an insult to President Kufuor. Because believe me, NPP are buying a bar, them make us even MPP's policy. So they used to have a first July the 4th about name Kufuor the decision. They say, so rock for friend people in the buy. A president, Arambua.
Yes.
I didn't have this one change 1st July, no, I'm for 4th August. Yasumi and Anam, yeah, BBI and Anam, till mine on my sofa, and now we are me and Yanka Skuka Krakati Seligo, called the Kotu Yebidanka. Hey, University Krakasi. Ya, my and yet thing. Kokotamche Yebidanka. And a yes, about 1st July. But what I disagree totally with this administration is the National Day of Prayer. Will be a man Qatar Republic games.
Well, no, there's someone making a forcefully say never basso.
Prayer the over track over one pay. But men man ko shem ko every time say sad and empire bontin yeah. The significance of the day no must be projected at all times. And no need mirror or mind no betin. And yeah, and your empire teacher. Why did you Bible?
Okay.
Short message.
Yes.
Also, a year
this is the last of Sa Masisano, we are for Boba, so Bessisano,
and MPP na a good for the one in Yakwa by ya on Bessabasan. Not yet, Domin say, Yen Bay party, you be with Yamanakao. Or Mombe by this 21, and no, Namun than a vegetables. Bello no, Obey, you know, your master to cause a Friday, yeah, holidays in Monday, Nippon in your holiday, you are a week. Obi ambassador of the bed. Number one is Chef Friday, I said the number at home. So it must
yes.
If you say, and also,
okay. All right, young court yen sem when I mean Ivan in started a waha and ra yenke being shame. Chief Justice and mounted a press conference, and we be here in the words of my Madame Fubi, I say she was brutally all over the place. Ivan, when you be a TA, when you be a reacting can be, what impression so far?
Yes, they can miss sunshine. I'm sure for him. I think
me about 12 minutes on this. 12
minutes. I think so. I didn't mind wasting time on the first issue because it's a big issue. I think so we need to delve deeper.
Exactly. Yeah,
Ghana for a
bit time.
The AC, no, before elections. So, when you heard things that may happen within our judiciary,
yes,
you and I will agree, said there were much more concern about the integrity and the sustainability of your judiciary in this country.
Right.
Ghana for were alarmed, and there are big media platforms. They were running, saying polls, try to ascertain the level of trust and confidence our Ghana for war our judiciary.
Exactly.
The results were out there. If only we want to be very honest with ourselves. In recent times, there were a lot of saying ruling and a free Supreme Court, but ordinary people could deem those ruling as very silly. And it was all over. You heard a lot of unpopular names like Unanimous 11, because some of the rulings now was subjected to critical scrutiny. Element of common sense, reasoning, and logic were missing. For instance, with this birth certificate, passport thing, and then issue. So the integrity of the judiciary became Adiana Ghana for so much concern about. Then came to the packing of the court, came to the appointment of individuals with known partisan ties. Obi former parliamentary candidate Wafeli, now appointing a whole lot. You see, morally, some of these things, had a tendency to taint the credibility of the judiciary. And see, going into the elections, these were some of the key issues on the table in Ghana for Kahwasem, and the promise was made, some effort to be done just to ensure, say, regularize once again Ghana for being hope, trust, and confidence in the institution. Because, Doctor, my culture said, "Oko mind be a Ade ebo ho ban ye soldier for mu kura tuo and nye police for. I trust and confidence the individuals repose in the establishment. And in of course Sri Lanka, nipa no muti o man no bufu ye no, they all walk to the the seat of the president. Drove the president out in the swimming pool in as for citizens were soldier for bit stop here because it's their trust and confidence among for one enya e reduce pe now mu lose that particular way. You are done. You can have all the military whatever. And unfortunately for us, the Jubilee House, maybe Ghana for Jiwoma, there is no way anybody can hide anywhere. You understand? So I think that's very important for us to put these issues on table. After elections, you know, then petitions started springing up. Because Mbakacho say even petition will be and I had in mind say I will put that particular thing in place. So petitions started here. Ohana president through a communication but said this is what has happened and the processes has advanced so far. No? There has been a lot of your friends political cynicism, some kind of way a man for try just to make this whole thing look like a particular agenda. But for me, where I sit now, I have listened to the Ghana Bar Association, I have listened to some so-called prominent lawyers, I have listened to the opposition party, I have listened to a lot of people or more try to comment on this particular issue. But there hasn't been any single individual, including the Chief Justice herself, or your press conference, you know, what mere pontificate at a single constitutional infraction our occasion so far in the course of this thing. Apart from Ono throw out her twisted emotions and what she thinks the law should be. You understand? When he had her disagreement on the court, you know, I think Onya 7-0, I say 5-0. Clearly, say issues now or no cano were not grounded, firmly grounded in any law, just imaginations and her personal wishes as a judge, as an individual, even though she's a lawyer. That is why court no to say not to go, you know. But the process in some all kind of say, president in second petition, you know. Ya man okwan amana responded. That is why whole thing started. Abra or the letter come president. And president was very kind enough and gave her a copy of that particular petition. And Nuntina Chief Justice, it will respond there, and son of the Council of State, it may establish the Premier Facia. My culture said in the establishment of Premier Facia, in that particular process, no, it's not an adversarial process. I say some adverse funding will be advanced because they are just looking at the integrity and the threshold now, constitution now set. You know, the subsequent process after it, you know, and I am kwanya, and no, you have cause to complain. You understand? But baby and runner or boy, kwanya ye first so I established the Premier Facia and say there were procedural errors. My question is, what has been any constitutional instrument to be an answer procedural instrument to be established? I can say these are the processes that we need to go through to ensure that we establish the Premier Facia, because she's not the first person to go through this process. Okay, Justice Darren and Co and other people. The former your friend is saying Shraj boss and they all went through this process. Madam Lamti, I'm telling you, sir, so far no, there hasn't been any legislative instrument, procedural instrument. We need to go through, say, from this stage to this stage to the process is not circumvented this laid down procedure. There hasn't been anything. What it does is a president receive a petition or forward it to the Council of State. The Council of State will do their in-depth inquiry into the matters to ascertain whether there is merit, credence in the issue, and then the report will finally be communicated to the president. This is the process. So what the hell is he talking about? Saying the process I established the Premier Facia was an error, and she was not able to pontificate a single constitutional line. You circumvented because my culture there is no legislative instrument and a procedural document regularizes that particular process. Senka Onimbibi Branko Chief Justice and she could have said no. In establishing a Premier Facia, we need a procedure and let us fairly ground that particular in law. What's now how me did the amount for another so no you are crying. And again, Anra, so we see in some now kana. I saw a visibly shattered woman, all drawn in the sea of her own emotions, and clearly you could sympathize with her. And I'm a catcher say, "When you to me, you must learn to use it wisely because to me you ning castle." I was so much ashamed to the stand for such words to be coming from a Chief Justice, because she ended up accusing the other people now, other judges, I must swear an oath to the stand said Daniel for in question or say na semba court. Now Justice Panamaya Oti we no so no writing a dissenting view are different from one another. And according to her, because of that particular reason now or then disagree now or no a ruling in favor of Daniel Ofori, disqualified the man. I need to question. I'm saying we are talking about high profile judges. We know that their conscience, everything is intact. You've sworn an oath. So is the woman telling us, oh, to know almost swear as a judge, you know, it doesn't mean anything? Because as a judge, you know, every case is different depending on the relevance of the issue that are available. You understand? You don't jump from issue to issue because when me rule for you, I don't have any personal attachment with you. So in a subsequent case, another case you cannot say in the future no rule for Wayne, you know, it doesn't make sense. And clearly what the woman was lamenting yesterday was pure raw emotions, and it was very shameful, to be very honest with you, because my press conference I couldn't even watch to the end because some all cano you could see clearly say whether she has been misled by some individuals to go on this particular time.
So you disagree with her on the conflict of interest bit now? Yes,
there is no conflict of interest, and that particular issue, no, she or drag it to court. Another day issue ni about Wagu, you understand? And again, we are talking about the most influential person within the judiciary. The topmost, the pinnacle of the judicial power. And if you go to the constitution, it is explicitly written, say, the processes involved in removing the chief justice, the hearing, must be heard in camera. The issues, so far, even though you can say, there were pieces of the petition being thrown around, a media for a man for can do their investigation, get it. But officially, the parties involved, none, and as speaking to the issues in public, not even government officials. But the woman brought a petition that is supposed to be listened to or looked at in public, in private, or the general public and on TV. And now all country Ghana for what is in the petition. That is a clear constitutional breach. And I say even this process, clear that woman now. And then now and Obi can take her to court and make sure she's removed because she has demonstrated nothing but sincere incompetence. Actually, she is not a person of character. Ghana for me trusting her to be the administrative head of the judiciary because what she did, a flagrant abuse of an explicit constitutional provision. And here interpretation, yes, the provision must be the process must be done in camera.
I see.
You will bring the petition out, discuss it, the merit, everything in it. Another day, you put judgment on it. Does it make sense? And this is a chief justice who is supposed to ensure judiciary na da ho no obebo ho ban and making sure say niam ba ya aduma.
Ever someone who can article 1468.
Okay.
Mamin kind just so that viewers in so be or say all proceedings under this article, and when you procedure from 6 7
yes,
all proceedings under this article shall be heard in camera.
Yes.
And the justice or chairman against whom the petition is made is entitled to be heard,
yes,
in his defense by himself,
yes,
or by a lawyer or other aspect of his choice.
Exactly. This is a clear constitutional provision, explicitly written. You don't need any implicit analysis to understand this. You see, when this whole process started, I told you I had a lot of respect for this woman, but the tangent she's going, I have lost every bit of respect I have for her. For instance, she says, oh, I'm for intimidating. On resigning, people are threatening her life. For Christ's sake, you are a chief justice. You are not some kind of Sebi. Yes, you are not an ordinary person. This is a chief justice. Obi threatening, you know what to do. You go to the police. You report the issue to the police. You don't do press conference. Media for no Obi threatening with life. Going to the media to tell media no. Does it solve the problem? And this is the biggest person in the judiciary. Also Obi threatening say on resign. Now in the position, on to me for her, that is a reason why she thinks that the government is behind it. When she is unable to even identify individuals now or more threatening. Again, Edu Lodge, she says that it brings a bad memory. Who cares about your emotional feelings? We are talking about Obia, why ye adia, a man for free, so what a man for far who dear so. And the constitutional process has been set in motion. Who cares about how you feel about the building? Because that building there, your friends a castle. your friends a government building. We are not paying any this thing for that particular facility. You understand? And that place now all can say bringing memory. Now when I'm for now over the years outfits, agile or prison and as a form. Do you know how they feel about the process? So I think that you see. I think that she must heed to wise counsel.
Okay.
Because tangents now on Namsono, she's breaking laws, she's defaming herself, she's proving to people that she's not a person of character. And I've sat on TV and I've told people say, "Oh, person who just wait for a trouble day." Because aseminya maya obia shekoti na obia nimyansa. But when asembabano, that's where you begin to test the integrity and the moral stability of individuals. And for me, what the Chief Justice sought to do yesterday was a stage managed politics.
Okay.
Somebody on attention shopping stand trying to call for people that young coming to her aid. But you see, Ghana for now, in China, I am much concerned about the sustainability and the integrity of our judiciary. They are not much concerned about individuals. So for her, she's just a minor piece of the bigger puzzle Ghana for are trying to solve. Okay. So that emotional blackmailing that she sought to do on TV yesterday, will not fly because it will not change.
Yes. 2 minutes more. You have almost done 15 minutes. But me beside your perspective on this matter. She made a point that I'll say, and I'm quoting her. That I say, hey, I to screen is I'll say, and she's speaking here.
Okay.
Article 1273 of the Constitution indemnifies a judge against any action or suit for any act or omission by him while exercising judicial power.
Yes.
This provision was just last week cited as a reason for declaring a petition against a Supreme Court nominee frivolous.
Okay.
And yet, I am in Edu Lodge defending myself on this petition.
She's not serious.
Debbie.
I'm telling you,
Debbie.
because as a Chief Justice, she's supposed to know better. The issues now in question has nothing to do with her doing her job as a judge. For instance,
she's saying that Daniel Ofori
yes, me baba chira Daniel Ofori issue in question
yes.
So over kind petition chira say the ruling on that particular matter was concluded. They did everything. The judges have given their ruling. It was a side issue that has to do with personality, character, attitude, how you spoke to one person. Yapon show way camera no more free and so what ensued between us, and you cannot capture it as part of proceedings across one team. Exactly. You understand? Exactly. So it was a side issue, and the guy stated it. So if the Chief Justice is abusing somebody off record, that is not part of your job as a judge. You understand? Because it was off record. Judges don't have given their ruling. Your dear seminary, your bunifor, and then you are telling your colleagues, say, look at you, you are a lawyer, an incompetent person. You do more higher training as a forum. That is not part of judicial job. Exactly. That is a side issue. Your friend say, Obi can take you on because as a Chief Justice, you have no right to abuse anybody. Another day, Nipa no challenge you, what's a young fan? Now police for a man handle na early event, lead to series of interactive way. So we cannot say. Yeah, why abusing the panel because a court, Don't forget that proceeding ended when the ruling was given. Okay. Anything that happened beyond a side issues. Okay. So for me, I think it's better say go through the process because you see in some Nana Mekacha she's emotionally a bit shattered in the sense she's not finding balance because one breath you are appearing before the committee. Processing is ongoing. You are still part of the process. So why jump out of the process to come and do press conference? Press conference is right. I cannot take that away from her. But if you know, say you don't have confidence in the process that is going on, you pull out. You understand? Exactly. You understand? And now say you wait for the process to end, then you tell people what? This whole thing is a PR stand. For me, I think it's just she's just trying to sell some kind of emotional beta. Okay. No serious person will take it serious. All right. I don't want the committee to withhold her. The fact, as presented in the petition, the committee should do a thorough job. Another day, say about one thing, say Chief Justice, okay. She will come back and take her job. Okay. And again, I'll say, last one, I'll say, President has signed warrant of suspension, and they had a public go to me say, oh yeah, let me tell you. If you go to the Constitution, it is quite clear. Not in any term, Constitution say, President, Committee now, yes, you be dinner the next phase.
Yes.
say yet me establish the premier facility and we na establish credence and merit and set up a committee.
Yes.
The president no go to me. That is a discretionary injunction on the president to sign that warrant or not. So it is not up to you in your twisted emotions just to determine what the president should do. You understand?
All right.
That is a constitutional right. So for me, I think that she's a broken, visibly shattered woman drawn in a pool of sea.
Ivan, innocent now, or then no atujano. And so the last commentary, no, we who Article 10, like 14610 A, B. President was had 2 minutes to suspend it. Bello, remember also 15 minutes to do one analysis of the matter.
And now some I came at the Hamadachio.
Okay.
Constitution nipa natural. Nipa something natural constitution. Seven previous and yamwa intine yamra. A nipa intine yamra.
Okay.
Yedi a man so to wa a baba ya sign be a ye twa ho a ochine bia no ye betimi de ye adwuma asema ye ken ene ne de amrante miansan bi o mo sore ye e kochiro krat akoma ye wura mampanyin se maame no aye adasuban bi adia omu fi se eni ye ni n'adwuma wo ye no ndi ye ntwene nsen ana anya no ano no
sa pepepe
ena omu manyina so a enti omu tworo sa krata na mebisa o mampanyin bi anya krata sa emfanya adwuma da se o krata omu di ba ye die anto asum se metimi di ye adwuma ebi wo ha ye di ye adwuma ebi so wo ho a o de to nchen a eyeye and say mampanyin say o de be adwuma ono obia ni twaka bia eye na adwuma no wo ye as mampanyin
okay
constitution na ye nyina ye kan ye article 146 no nyina so no e make that establishment no wo ho say kwanya ye be fa so ayi chief justice enie eno as na kire say kwanya be fa so ayi na say appointing a chief justice and anya so it's the same constitution no kire kwan be fa so appoint a chief justice and one sa kire kwan be fa so yi a chief justice e be di constitution no so na mum me de menye lawyer ni minsua mra so na mum omo amusua mra aye lawyer for no omo say law no mu no omo be aye fa letter and spirit se sa ne tie dia na ne ye dia no so ye adwuma eyeye letter na ye mra na constitution aka ato no mebo a ntwere no na mebo a na mo spirit no aye nipa nie ate mu a wadadi aye betimi ade aka se a wonsusu ye mu mpo no nyanka obeye se na odi kokoye ye ntena na mra no ye de efa yeye ana amfa eyeye
ye no wie no na ohun ye was saying what was your impression about the whole press conference?
I wasn't impressed.
Oh. What am I mu saying?
You oh yeah and round. Mimi nya anka wanye bibisa.
I see.
Around this time, I know say obey a bit desperate. You will maybe on na in his or her life, why I expect to say bibisa ebe na kwem. It bibisa ba how to handle it, becomes a bit of a problem.
Okay.
Right? If no, and now we are closer to her. As I would be advise her, make her see the reality of the situation and for her to live by that.
I see.
But where they don't do that, now we're doom. Don't church maybe. I mean, I listened to a lot of the things that she read out. I have listened to a lot of some specific persons to be their style of writing and other things. And I can see those people straight in that particular statement now, I'm never crying. So these are some persons who are trying to use the woman, to, as it were,
I see.
push their political agenda. So as I said, I wish he didn't say anything because even if you're crying, because you wonder if a chief justice can be making certain requests. Yemremuno Emma Hokwai. And now all your certain claims to be when you cross check and the correct. Those things should not happen. Oh yes, I know it is rather bringing the image down.
I see.
People have kept quiet, yes. And you know, if it's not saying to you, and now I can't winning in a year. No. It is the case that she will not go back to the friends to the committee in the one. Is that what she's telling us?
No, na kabe ba bebusa no say dia potin na ade asabi entwa yi ewo nkomodi a ode beto Ghana fo anim enrei.
No, the point is say niema na ye kano enra no obeyi ni na obeyi bibre ano
Sir.
right?
Yes.
It's so what I knew you were. Why don't you do that at the committee hearing? Because the whole can say, what per se, that a friend saying hearing we you know, you be no our pity, right? Or no so as a chief justice, no. Or them say your constitution we clear say that thing should be done behind closed doors and it should be done in camera.
Yes.
So one will begin to ask oneself, a whole chief justice, when the constitution is very clear about that issue, you know. The Chief Justice is saying that the Constitution should be flouted for her sake. That's why I'm saying that I was not impressed. Because you never know how much you can. Not American, I say. Because, oh, yeah, no, as I said, we down. On one can, and maybe a term said the law is the law. So if the law is the law, Article 146 is clear as to what should happen when there should be any such matter. And why would you want the Constitution to be breached?
I see. Now, she made a claim, and no comedy or the buy, no, still on the point that Jim Trainier, the Mark Committee, now, almost in say, no, Justice Poorman say, no, will be a onona junim susu say conflict of interest be ewo oni ni nya adwene sa because Justice Poorman ekwa ko di Daniel Ofori asemi e ma ono at the point no kra e dissent on the decision into we feel say Justice Poorman will not do justice to her chairing that particular committee. The petitioner, one of the petitioners, and so Daniel Ofori, nsem ni wo ho no conflict of interest be ewo ho the man. Only ni nya adwene sa.
Point in there was something which he said. If that particular thing or no spread there, what am I gonna say?
Okay.
Then of course Justice Poorman will have to recuse himself.
Okay.
He was saying, now that no, I can say he was going to also rely on Justice Poorman to give evidence at the hearing of this matter. Right. So if Justice Poorman was going to give a hearing at this matter, first and foremost, he will say, has that been confirmed? Say really, you know, Justice Poorman over evidence is such a thing, or could that have been a lie on the part of Daniel Ofori, you know? So first and foremost, when a person just makes a certain claim, what am I gonna say? What you have to do is first and foremost find a way to confirm it. So yes, he said that he was going to rely on this gentleman as one of the witnesses. That's what Daniel Ofori is supposed to have said. So it is possible that they might have cross-checked from Justice Poorman. Say, hey, Justice Poorman, Daniel Ofori said, that's India or the Babato President Nimuno, who can't say maybe. And it is possible that Justice Poorman will go and say, man, that guy has not even spoken to me, so I don't know what he's talking about.
Okay.
And that should settle it. So the mere fact that the gentleman has made indications there, Justice Poorman will have also come in. What am I gonna say?
Yes.
That doesn't mean that he is biased towards you.
Okay. I see. Eyasemu. And for you now when you're impressed,
not in the late.
I see.
Because yes, because never be hold more kind. Oh no.
Yes.
He's making reference to a due lodge and honeymoon, and a friend saying it brings memories. And a whole lot of them. Ebi anagana for a name, young educated Hokakra. President Akufo-Addo during his last moments of presidency, that particular place, has been renovated and gifted to the government of Ghana.
Yes, that is true.
One AL Adu. What am I gonna say?
Yes.
So it is among some of the property of government. Na then you use President Eco Commission here.
Yeah.
So what are you now saying? Because during the commissioning, the president was clear as to what that place was going to be used for. If you don't come and create the impression, say, hey, beer, a baby who be and those type of things. You are saying, say, you have been threatened. If you have been threatened as a judge or a lawyer for that matter, he knows what to do. If somebody threatens you, you report him to the police. She's telling us to say, even when she was threatened, Okoye report to the police, the police refused to go and investigate the threat.
I see.
So you are making a claim. How do you prove it?
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You are even saying, say, oh, we say a president may buy any milk and I'm a bush for a better hearing.
Yes.
When you are doing in camera hearing, it should involve only people who have a certain role to play. It's even lawyers, So a bus, some hearing be our course of. That's in camera hearing now. They will clear all of us as lawyers out. The only person say they a lawyer for almost some of their money back on that. That's our court,
Okay.
Court officials, and the judge okay, they are the only people who should be there. You don't bring in your family relations.
I see.
It's not all can you decide who say if any actual way say in camera hearing now. There should be a relation who should be there. And so you ask yourself, say, if you have a CJ making such egregious error and playing on emotion, I anyway, I have just said briefly that I wasn't impressed.
Exactly.
Because I didn't expect certain things. Oh, okay, at the end of the day, we will begin to say, now, mommy, we pan the Chief Justice, he appears not to even know anything. Because once someone walk on any man as Obia.
I said emotional idea being away.
That was why I was saying, so you keep your calm. Look, she's not Atlas of the Greek mythology. The whole world is done so. Creating impression, they say, probably she is the only person now, to be the judiciary, to be a proper for instance, and to be assessing a home. There were people who were there before you, and after you have led, there will be a lot of people who will come. So that make an answer.
I see.
So you don't create the impression that we are such a special being as a we didn't want to be able to say. So if she has any particular matter, and I'm saying, since you're a boy, man, you're gonna find money. I say, yeah, book you, me say you, you can't hold no. That kind of phone, or can't say near a day.
I see.
Yes, got demonstration, I say
so in all of this, we'll say you are not impressed, that's fine. But we're boom, Rebbe Swana. Say, or this,
maybe so. And that can even, assuming that you can win in our proper, and somebody can find the winning and yen of under Article 146,
yes.
Once say 17, no, the idea master committee, it is supposed to be in camera, and that's what it wants them be actually will be a.
Okay.
So if you as a Chief Justice, not have a transit, and I will catch them for near a Danofo Biaka, near a certain Abdullah Biaka, and I think that will happen.
Shining stars of Obiaka.
Your friends and yes, and I will say, and I am out. I mean, the point is this: even when he talks about a fool, right? If it is a hearing behind closed doors, The idea is that they don't want anything to go out. If you know, who hear the Chief Justice, now what show all the indications say, what per se, Ubia Eti, the Ecoswa. What's the guarantee that you will put your phone, you will call and make sure say who no original so there will be persons who will be outside and who can hear all that is happening in during the hearing.
I see.
That's the first one. The second thing to NSA, once you are at the hearing, is it the case that when somebody calls you, no, no, you wouldn't need the phone during the hearing. The telephone system is such that to be pro, that's the one to be a call no. You know, if you show you can now return the person's call. So for me, those issues are neither here nor there.
I see.
They are so terribly pedestrian. They don't go to the core of the issue.
I see.
He was talking about the use of CI-47 and the whole lot of things. Even when he's talking about CI-47, most of the things, if not all, are all wrong. No, he rather has got them wrong.
I see.
Two, when it comes to this particular way, they are not to use the rules of court. This is an ad hoc committee. Right?
Okay.
It's an ad hoc committee, so it doesn't follow the rules of court. No.
I see. Now, what I'm on to moving forward to say, now that on our standing committee name in Semano, now or ding commodating never go about. What's your expectation? Say, Obesa go back to the committee to answer questions and now say, I mean, you any dance say, what would be your advice?
That's a question that should be thrown to her. What Becca will mean, you see, when you sit down quietly, I'm not going to do politics. I won't do that. But when you observe some few things that will say, what is happening is following a certain agenda. Look at the MPP minority in Parliament. What was the basis of this saying? Say they will not vote to confirm the new Supreme Court judges.
Okay.
Almost some kind of say the judges at the Supreme Court have sat down and looked. They are not seeing anything. Meanwhile, the Chief Justice, is being wrongfully persecuted or something. Now, those people over them, they are judges, they are lawyers, they understand the law. So as they see it, they don't see anybody having flouted any part of the law. And directly how this issue of the Chief Justice being investigated is concerned.
I see.
The law is that it has seven bar. A friend saying, President, the group be embassy assembly. Sama group no every assembly no. President, ever who can say or to be suspended, the Chief Justice, right? During time of suspension, we do baby not supposed to say, as I said, to be recall the Chief Justice, obey me, then I recall. You understand what I'm saying? Now you are saying, recall, sir, we now we are, suspension now. They told me so as Chief Justice, change it and rather call me back. To me, bang and or they call the Chief Justice in the back. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
To me now, they call Chief Justice in the back. It's in the Constitution. So, but to me, I recall the Chief Justice.
Yes.
Now, so person will use that aspect of the Constitution to recall you from your suspension. Why are you saying, say, when the president decides to suspend you, that is wrong?
I see.
I don't know whether you follow the
I get the logic, pa.
Precisely, because when you are asking the president to do any particular thing,
yes,
you are asking him to do that thing because the Constitution mandates him or allows him to do so.
Exactly.
So the Constitution allows the president to, as it were, recall the Chief Justice from the suspension.
Exactly.
You want the president to make use of that provision.
Provision.
But when it comes to the provision which suspends you, and they always think it is wrong.
And I say, pick and choose bisa no. When it is good for you, no, and it okay.
So I will have wished. That was why I've been saying you won't, a friend saying you won't resign.
Yes.
And a whole lot of it. So keep this into yourself.
I see.
I would have rather expected to say all the concerns are or one other things. Me no. And after say I can be a now if there are recommendations be possibly say yes in what I can say. That's a unit. Then she can now go to court and challenge the basis upon which she has been removed from office.
I see.
You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
When I would have understood her, I would have been completely, there with her.
I see.
When you begin to be talking about, because just as I said, what she did yesterday can be one of the stated misbehavior of the Chief Justice. And that should be enough for her, to be removed from office.
I see.
Because what she did yesterday was a clear violation of the provision of the Constitution.
But that begs the question. So, say, a lot of people have said, Ebi on Wangasan or her said, near Messi Fair Conwa. Qua ne be continue just say, want to be on Conny baby. And
that cannot be intelligent on the part of somebody of a stature. What am I going to say? Look,
yes.
Always leave a certain, how do I call it, respect for yourself. I am not talking like this because I hate her. No. I'm talking like this because I feel disappointed. Say, oh, yeah, Bibisa.
I see.
So what can I say?
Exactly.
Because when someone can know, would the name be at the court, Supreme Court for her?
Yes.
Yeah, 5-0. So somebody comes to say, I see justice is part of the idea court. And the court for a man 5-0. No. That means on Shada in Nimrano.
Exactly.
You are now asking that certain things must be done. And those things, the laws don't allow those things to be done.
I see.
So somebody will also come and say, it's Mammy Wayne or Chief Justice, Because they are all wrong.
Wrong. I see.
Silence is golden.
Exactly.
If he had kept quiet, not said anything, why you come or Casa or no behind any interaction here? They all three no. Some say you'll be no year no so and for move for an answer and for a move and India.
I see. But
so let her, you should have waited. The commission, the investigating committee, could have finished with its work. And then after its work, the recommendation, in the event it comes out, say, the recommendation, I say, she must be, removed her, right?
Yes.
Then she can go and say, look, that particular the basis upon which recommendations were made is may be a business.
I see.
So over there, she could have asked for the proceedings. She could have asked for how the decision was arrived at.
Exactly.
And all these things, will have to be made available, and for the court to make a determination whether the decision arrived at, was born out of very strong evidence which went against the Chief Justice.
I see.
But what about you who can look at this as being one son?
It's unfortunate, but my last question is, what do you think should be the approach of the committee? Woman friend of back.
The committee has no problem.
I see.
After the committee, some of the amount of opportunities there. If you decide to inquire, and the committee knows what it will do.
I see.
The committee will say, well, we call the person about 1 or 2 that she didn't say, oh, I'm a biome.
I see.
What she rather decided to do, they say she was now recursing to, giving press conferences and other things. It's obvious is that, and yeah, they are already, to afford herself the opportunity to explain things to us. So to that extent, we are made to think, say, and some are candidate and no correct. So we recommend that she should be removed. So if you rather go against it, for the committee members, they have nothing to worry about.
I see.
And they have no problem at all.
I see. All right. Council, Maminda was Adajia Winya na church and Semumu Ediamaye. Obadi and Shirapa na. Ebusia said ya. Same way no. Ensembibri na lawyers no a lot fit and ring na obia kanidie obia chirani nsemu but largely no o hwede ekono dia bebre no lawyers former judges ni de former directors of Ghana Law School won mo chire etete emranimfo ni de kekeka unia obia doesn't seem to be very excited, very happy with Anamono Chief Justice no etu ye no ensem no ye ensem bebre otoso ko ekoso aka nsem bi say, and I quote director say inu wo ho abetimi na yenko o say in all of Ghana's 68-year history as an independent republic there has never been a trial for the removal of the Chief Justice. Unfortunately, every step of it is being done in an illegitimate manner that breaks every rule on how justice is delivered in the country. And this is why I find the need to draw the nation's attention this afternoon to the serious violations of the Constitution and law in the process and the danger it holds for the development of the nation's democracy. Because first of all, Article 146 now yedi din komo bebre wo krom ha no in fact it's a clause wa o kan a sebi mpenifo manimu a you don't need sebi obia lawyer nibia to even come and explain and a judge nibia to explain to you say na brofo no ka na say na ntiase ne tie. You don't need a judge or a lawyer to even explain to you. Too easy to understand. Menkanesa. Enti processes ni no. Echere dia was so 1461, 1462, about 1466 ya. Echere say me committee no 1467 and so chere said in fact to the extent that Jumedi ne kran said there was a corner. Say eni say ye dwumedi ye na bontim obia hunu bie obia tibie ye kan dem the brony friend in camera nti kan article 1468 na abusia constitution e dam animu a hey medical aka 1467 1468 1466 nyina kire procedure ene nhihye ya e wo ho nti I don't know me ntiase unless obi be tell me baby a violation of the rule of law any the kekeka ho Chief Justice ken all right enti osanso toso kan ensem bi wa ha yenhwe was say article 1273 of the Chief Justice na say suspended Chief Justice na okay so say article 1273 of the Constitution indemnifies a judge against any action or suit for any act or omission by him while exercising judicial power. This provision was just last week cited as a reason for declaring a petition against a Supreme Court nominee frivolous. And yet, I am in Edu Lodge defending myself on this petition. Abisia, the Chief Justice and ne ho nsɛmsɛm ekoso de o kan ne sɛ article 127 no kire sɛ judge bi tie adwam na sɛ o take decision ana asɛm beto nanim na o de in exercise sɛ o di asɛm no so o tu anamo bi ana o kan nsɛm bi ana o si gyinaye bi eni sɛ yedi kutia no aha menka ne sa eni sɛ ye asɛm a yedi betia no in the future sɛ bi a odi asem ne say no kan na mo bi we no tu ye ntino ye di begina so di be ka kire ne se wanye ne niema yi eno no mbra ne mma ho kwan sa bedende sa mbra no a emma ho kwan sa no esemi ko Supreme Court say nka judge bi hu nsem ne ade Supreme Court for bogu betende ono ne de bai. And I'm sure say Oka Sensem Nana she was making reference to the Daniel Fori case. That's how Daniel Fori petition and there. Which was said wa bahad part to the Chief Justice. But a petition. Adie bi a course one e bonjo so and a watchere and our dear common mampeni so dear ma committee say committee international bubu hu na yenhwe say ensem no okuche di group kratas no e wonyina so obia de tia Chief Justice na. And I was thinking ordinarily no Chief Justice, I was thinking that yes kohona kuyi wano and she said council Paul Kumika ye no emre bie ni wa emma wo kwan se san komodie kra no e was say better bonting in the manner no a enra etimi better abonten no eno na e ha adwene kakra in fact enya say e ha adwene kakra e ha adwene because we heard the stature of the Chief Justice ebusiafo ye ka Chief Justice ya enye sebi position ketwa o it is assumed say hey emrai we nyina constitution book we nyina no wadi ni baba in fact otiase enim de akobia wom enti sa na tie de a obia ni ho betimi akakere me Desmond say Chief Justice ni nim say enkomo we ye ndi wa bonten na ye di wo kokoam abra constitution ankasa eka constitution ni hye say mame kan na te ho ase 146 8 no or say all proceedings under this article shall be held in camera. Bronika in camera just say any say appear and the justice or chairman against whom the petition is made is entitled to be heard in his defense by himself or by a lawyer or other expert of his choice. And he just say provision no a clear ope lawyer dodo say na person do omko wura dem ho a emra ni ma ho kwan enkomo ni yendi wa bonten and a decided case sa asem we a ukai tiger pi anas ensensem okoye judges no ho can say expose se bibisa and bibisa akoso there ukai the Justice Derry versus Tiger PI case no and a lot of law students here mo hwe me na no pe me sure say and more privy to sa and 7 of Supreme Court can say papa no Justice Derry ninsem no because oye by virtue say we judge no nin komiesie ehwehwe ninsem no eni se be da bonten enkomodie no ni se ba bonten Supreme Court esi se agina ye no ebiem ubehwe ajechum the popular case I the J2 versus the Republic. Some way no yen one a barbontin Supreme Court is say no Chief Justice Dankasa ya aware. Ebusia Chief Justice Dankasa ya aware. I was answering you besre and to say no I didn't come. The question is me and me bisa me who say to say no what be dim community now abontin. How do you then go back to the committee to even speak on this matters again? Say mpo bibi wo ho e wo say wo de koma wo mo ana nchire mu bi wo ho a e wo say wo munya in determining or coming to a conclusion over the matter no a ye de abontanse na ye de abo no say committee for e wo say wo mo say frɛ wo na wo be di nkomo bi na wo mutimi e de kan nsɛm ni nyina afu ade wo recommendation koma president ya say wo di nsɛm ni nyina be gu abontin sei no na ye ne den ebe dey na wetimi anya that you can say moral courage ne kura kwa ko gina wo manim to even go and answer questions and is it the case say Chief Justice na ye na dwene say on committee ne nim bie mu ana ye busa ye nka say sa na tie me busa is it the case say onye prepared say obekọ omun nanimu bi makwa ko yi nsem ano ana. Is it also the case say or feel said the bia or the ama wo mo no is enough enti no say no the be bia the be CBNC ana me dwene me nsem me sure say won so no a wo hwe me no a lot of things running e wo tirimu a wo busebusa wo ho nsem about nsem ya ni nyina no etwegu no but it's really a testing moment in the legal space here. A lot of people mranim for be bre kire o madwene as to what they think say ankoyi and now say o madwene mo mu susu say ankoyi a enka chief justice need to a certain other approach here enka betimi aboa na nka ne nsem nso edimu prekope ewo ho nti ye behwe se dia nsem no ebesi fako ye ni die chiri pa ende ye hwe dia what will come enro na nsem ne bae ene ye hwe some of the things that will come up any nkomodie because we have ye ni mranim for be director for Ghana School of Law Mr. Ansa Asare ono dey also the bone also hold a position say it doesn't enche cry for ono dey okra there he even made a point to say Chief Justice in face obi mia no na say ontias ya wonye din na omumia no a omumia no wi a she has an opportunity to go and seek redress. How didn't nsem nyina committee didn't nsem nya ba wi na wo bonju so a na wako court na fe wako ka won nsem ho na fe court no nso esi ginaye akonsem ni mu na mo hwe se de ebesifa se bibi wo hokra na mo yeti a wo a entwe yi na court no do a ruling aba na fe nyina ye movie on as a nation but akoba ni say no once again eba be NDC MPP NDC MPP na fe ye be say asem no kra ye ba be say asem no kra and that is what as a nation no e wo see nyina no ye bomodin say ye betwe ye ho efri ho said ye be ya oman no ntem di kan me start make say oman we is a very beautiful nation e wo see nyina ye endeavor ye boy ye ho modern say we would ye be ensure say bi boni bia no e metwintwan akwemu me say eniema ye ne ankasa ya giatum amamra ya ankasa ya giatum say ye de be boy ye ho bra in just some few months ago no Chief Justice swear say sa amamra we would be ya adwuma. It's just unfortunate say if not for anything at all say me minimum bra kura na min tehwe kura min timbra se kura no article 1468 etire mi pefe say nkomodie we nko ade na ni say ba bonten na ni say ba bonten kura wo kwan bia so no matter the circumstances no matter the situation no matter how ususu say committee dey do fam and now whoever the petitioners no e do fam no any say sankomodie we e ba bonten but now there's this issue about edu lodge ne dey ke ebusia me ankasa edu lodge no omuguso omuka ho asem a eno atama Chief Justice ebo akire wie kan nsem ye na ye pese ye hunu what edu lodge ne kra no dey asabi eye baby a ehu ohu ana se eye baby asabi emfata se ye ni nipa kwakosi nkonwa wo ho ana abusia edu lodge is unfortunate edu lodge ye baby a ewo the presidency cast ho osu nimpotem ho baby na eye kama papa in fact me hunu me ntiase me ankasa me ntebe ho ase when I had opportunity to see the place say hey now when na Chief Justice say ho huna kai no 1982 said ya na opeso o kan nsem bi but no ye fa nto nchen eno de be to nchen ebusia edu lodge no and ubo de boy edu lodge e wo phone so de boy edu lodge e wo phone so man pani dada na na do dan kwa kufuado ena kokko commission ye na ye old edifice de ena pani bi e bo modern e discussion mo siesie ho kama e de chair aban no e de chair oman no menka ne sa na na do dan kwa kufuado former president his excellency ena kokko pa ho ntima e twa ahomam e bie ye kama e kire adwumadie kura e ho no ye di bedie as part of aban no ne property a yebetimi akodi adwuma so bia and government be yi ano enra after the chief justice ni nsem or the two dwa no government be yi ano say in fact enya aban ni mpo and I recommend this edu lodge no the committee and a chere so omo pe baabi na omo timi de aye omo adwuma baabi nso omo pe no omo pe baabi a bit discreet kakra say be ya attention ya there because case no aye koso no many chief justice ya say this is the first time bibi sa aye koso a chief justice a sitting chief justice say bi ne ho aba asem a ye hwe ye de ne fa emra kwan so say be ya either to go or not to go. This is the first time. And there are a lot of things here also about this case here new. And so the committee actually say omo mpe hey nto omo pe baby a ebetimi hold wo mo menya botre hosti one more petitioners the accused ne de keke ka ho nyina say de be ya asumdue ebetimi nya a very serene environment. And omo make that recommendation about so okay, if you want that place we can give it to you now for do with juma ebusia enu ne ye ba be do some pempesui and so edu lodge no de ebusia it's unfortunate. I don't know me hunu dia na ye suspended chief justice no person wo hunu any de kika. Yes, if you have issues about human rights bia ne de kika ho a ye ju phone ye you say ne de kika one that is a different discussion for another day.